Hey folks, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community on the planet. Today is Thursday, August 3rd. Hope you're doing awesome. And in this video, for a second time, we're going to be discussing the potential of Cronos Group getting bought out. So who will buy CRON? Is it Tilray? Is it Curaleaf? We know that Curaleaf has already expressed an interest in potentially acquiring Cronos. And now there's some rumors floating around that Tilray Brands could be the front runner to potentially acquire that company. And we'll see what happens, but we don't have a crystal ball, but we'll look at the most likely scenario. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on this. We'll look at the chart, see if we can get any clues there. And I also got a bunch of other things I want to share with you here as well. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel, and I would appreciate that very much. I really do appreciate all the support. I love each and every one of you who has supported me along the way. Take the bell and subscribe, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. So taking a look at X here, formerly known as Twitter. Betting Bruiser says, latest rumor going around is that Tilray has emerged as the front runner to buy CRON. Buying another pile for its cash position. Not the news the sector needs right now. So while I would agree with that, we know that MJ is at that phase where we're just starting to get into the blue chip phase, right? Where we're starting to see mega mergers, and realistically companies that are going to be here in 5, 10, 20 years from now are being shaped. And I think Tilray is one of those companies. And as you recall, I did a video here back on July 6th. Could Curaleaf buy Cronos Group, which is backed by Altria and Philip Morris? So this could potentially be the case. We didn't have any comments from Curaleaf, but we're starting to see this. Red, White, and Bloom Brands was going to buy Alethea, but that deal fell through. So we're starting to see more and more MSOs look to potentially acquire LPs, which is an interesting dynamic. But again, could potentially Tilray or Curaleaf buy? We just don't know. They're definitely candidates in my opinion. We know that Tilray Brands had $150 million convertible note and raise, and that was back on, what day did I post that video? That was on May 25th. So they said, even in their conference call as well, they said that they didn't want to dip into their $400 million in cash, and they mentioned their cash position. I think it was over 400. They had some other like cash and cash equivalents, but essentially over 400 million, and they had great revenue, and they didn't even have Hexo on it yet. So wait until next quarter. We're going to have a couple months of Hexo on there, and we're really going to start to see this thing and this conglomerate and see this, like, you know, the true potential here. But it's not going to be the true potential. The next quarter and the next quarter are just going to continue to get better, in my opinion. And again, this just shows that Tilray is hoarding its cash. So the potential, and it's said many times in the conference call, they've said it many times beyond that conference call as well, that they're saving. And even when he did that AMA, Carl Merton, the CFO, he said that we're saving it for strategic opportunities and investments and potential for mergers and acquisitions. So absolutely, I think that CRON could be in the eyesight of Tilray. And then I also did a video on could Tilray Brands buy VFF, because they mentioned on the conference call and a few other things as well in the AMA that they're looking to get into fruits and vegetables. So that's another avenue. And we know that with all the natural disasters going on, that, you know, we could probably use the extra agriculture space and fruits and vegetables because of the, you know, the flooding and everything that's going on around the world. It's just a great idea, in my opinion, in order for them to continue to, you know, get, you know, cash and be profitable while we wait for U.S. reform, right? Any kind of legislation, any safe banking. We know that safe banking could potentially pass in the fall after the August recess. We could get HHS, which will bring to about the 1 year mark around October. So I think our best bet is getting HHS reviewal and potentially rescheduled to Schedule 3. I think that's the most likely. We'll see if we get descheduled in safe banking. It could all happen at once as well, which would be massively bullish for the space. But essentially, the companies just need to basically just focus on being profitable now with the cards they're dealt. And then if the U.S. legalizes, it's going to be an absolute parabolic moonshot after that, right? Even legalization of medical in the U.S. But I want to share with you this video here from the Dales Report. I'm going to try and get this guy on, or someone from the Dales Report on, for an interview. I would like to incorporate more interviews. I'm also going to be doing an interview with CFO of Cannara Biotech here in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. And then I also reached out to Tilray for an interview as well. Going to be trying to reach out a lot more to these companies to do interviews, so I'd like to get that on the calendar at some point soon. But this just gives you some insight into what the industry is going to be like here as we move forward here in the next decade or so. So this is extremely bullish. I want you to listen to this and really absorb it.
How many companies do you think will be standing when this is all said and done in the next, I don't know how long that takes, 5 years, 10 years? Like, how do you see this industry basically maturing? Like, do we only have like 2, 3, 4 companies remaining?
You know, and this is my opinion, I think it'll end up going the way that we see beer.
Yeah.
I think once it gets to a point where you can buy pre-rolls at Circle K, you're going to have what you see at Circle K for beer.
Yep.
You're going to have 4 major beer companies selling mediocre beer, Miller Lite, Coors, Silver Bullet, and that. And then you're going to have all your separate beer barns or whatever they call them in your area that have craft beers or microbrews.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion where it's going to go, because I think if it completely deschedules or wherever it ends up, if it ends up in a channel where it's just an age-restricted product, you've already got retail that has age-restricted situations with tobacco, with alcohol.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see, GTI's dog walkers behind the counter and somebody just goes in. And I'm not throwing shade at GTI saying that it was a mediocre product because I just said that. But that's just a famous pre-roll.
Right.
So kudos to GTI that they have such a famous pre-roll that everybody knows what a dog walker is.
Yeah. Before I let you go, one last thing or two last
when it's taking place and where.
So there we go. That's super bullish. And we know that Tilray has said before that they've been working on getting products like beverages and pre-rolls into, convenience stores here in Canada, and it's federally legal. So if that happens, that's going to be massively bullish. And then imagine like the Latin, markets and Latin America. You've got, America. You've got beyond that Germany coming online here potentially. Like there's so many bullish catalysts. In Ukraine looking to legalize medical, and they just acquired Hexo. And again, that's not even on their earnings yet. And that'll be on the next quarter. We'll see a couple of months of that. And then we'll really get an idea of what this behemoth is going to be in the next 2 to 3 quarters from now. But as you can see, like he talks about pre-rolls, they just acquired Hexo, the best pre-roll company in the world with Redecan, that technology with the Reddies. And they're big into craft beer. And she talks about how a lot about craft beer in this as well, and how it's going to be similar to that. And in my opinion, there's no company more bullish than Tilray long term, well, hands down. But if we take a look at CRON versus Tilray, so the relative strength to CRON to Tilray, you can see here over the last several months, years, from the low to the high there, it's now up 500% comparatively, and 882 days. Yeah, it's just showing a ton of strength here in comparison to Tilray. So the fact that we're starting to see this strength, let's bring up Cura. So we're not seeing as much strength here with regards to CRON in the denomination of Cura, but we are starting to see some momentum here to the upside. We're in a monthly uptrend as well with the low, high, higher, low, and higher high, and we held that double bottom there. But it's not nearly as strong, in my opinion, as CRON and Tilray. And we had that EMA 12 that we lost as support, but we're trying to find resistance here on EMA 26. So let me know in the comments below which one you think it could be. Do you think it could be, you think CRON will be potentially Tilray getting bought out by, or you think they'll get bought out by Curaleaf or some other name? But I always love hearing from you. I think realistically, Tilray has the cash to do so. And Curaleaf's another one of my big holdings. I own them, full disclosure. Probably my top 3 biggest holding. But yeah, very bullish on Curaleaf in the future. Boris Jordan, even the founder and the chairman, said that if it wasn't for 280E tax code, they'd already be paying a dividend more than likely, and they've already paid over $340 million to the U.S. government under 280E. So if we just take a look at CRON, it's looking really good here in comparison to Tilray. And then if we look at the actual CRON chart, we are starting the monthly bounce, and it's a monthly inside bar at the moment. So just like everything, we're down from February 2021 highs. We're down over 90% from all-time highs. We're down well over 90%. So this is a name that I definitely think that's going to get acquired. And if I had to put a name on it, I would think it would be Tilray, just based on everything we've heard, the cash position they have. And like I said, the premium's usually around 20% in the industry. But based on how beat down everything is right now, it might not even be that. So we'll take a look quickly at the Tilray chart. So the Tilray chart showing some strength here as well, starting the monthly bounce. But CRON started the monthly bounce before. And like I said, it started to really start to shine here in the MJ space. And we're starting to see more LPs here in Canada, more strength in the LPs compared to the US. I did a video on MSOS saying how Canadian MJ is looking stronger. So again, that leads me to believe that it's probably going to be Tilray to acquire CRON, and then that would be more focus on the Canadian market, right? The Canadian LPs. But if we take a look at CRON here on the weekly time frame, weekly indicators were really starting, the MACD here on the weekly time frame was starting to go parabolic. We're bearish on the stochastic again, but we're still above that 10-week moving average. And then if we take a look at the weekly time frame, we need to get over that 50 weekly. They're at 237, and then we got some runway to about 315. And then in terms of the daily chart, we're above the 50-day moving average, and we're not too far away from seeing a golden cross. If we take a look at Tilray Tilray above the 100, but it's a while away before we could see that golden cross. And then just taking a look at Cura, it's due for a golden cross here any week, in any month. So it's looking like I said, into the fall, we're going to see some massive upside, in my opinion. And there could even be broader market. Amazon destroyed their earnings today. I think Apple's going to, I didn't check Apple, it didn't come out yet, but I think Apple's going to be due for some consolidation and some pullback. I don't think theirs is going to be as great, and maybe their guidance or something like that. But I think into the fall, we could potentially get a spot Bitcoin ETF that's going to send markets into absolute euphoric bull mode. And I think that, with either SAFE or HHS reviewing how it's scheduled, that's going to be our biggest catalyst. But let me know what you think. These charts are starting to heat up, but if I had to put money on it, if I was a betting man, I would say that Tilray is probably the front runner and the most likely. But again, always love hearing from you. Let me know your thoughts. We'll continue the comments in the comment section below. But thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Powell Group. Hope you have a fantastic evening. Like, share, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next video.